Welcome back to All Things Creepy. I'm your host, Micah James. And this week we are covering 7 different haunted locations in Canada. Now, I know Canada is a very big country, so there could have been a lot of different places that I could have covered. But to kind of make it a little bit easier on myself, I decided to narrow it down to 7. If I did not cover a place that you do want me to cover, just let me know. Or if there's a location that you want me to go into more detail about, that's cool too. Just reach out to me on social media. All of that will be in the show notes, so don't worry about having to remember where to find me. But I'm on Instagram, Tumblr, and hopefully by the time that this episode is published, I'll also be on Threads, but all that will be in the show notes. Starting us off is the Tranquil Sanatorium in Kamloops, British Columbia. I feel like it's very hard to talk about haunted places without mentioning at least one sanatorium, especially when that sanatorium started off as a place to treat tuberculosis or TB or the consumption, whatever you want to call it, and eventually turning into a place to treat those with mental illnesses. Tranquil Sanatorium was originally built in 1907, like I said, to start treating people who were suffering from TB. Over the years, it ended up becoming an insane asylum before it was completely abandoned in the 80s. There have been so many, countless reports of paranormal activity, from orbs all the way to eerie, disembodied moans. And it is still, to this day, considered one of the most haunted locations in Canada, which doesn't surprise me, as a lot of sanatoriums, I don't know about this one specifically, but I know a lot of sanatoriums ended up becoming overcrowded. So it doesn't surprise me that it's considered one of the most haunted in the country. Number 2 on the list is the Fairmount Banff Springs Hotel in Banff, Alberta. This hotel is rumored to be more haunted than the Stanley Hotel. If the Stanley Hotel sounds familiar, then it should. It is the same one that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining, but we're not talking about that right now. The Banff Springs Hotel was built in 1888 by the Canadian Pacific Railway. One notable spirit is a bride. She had reportedly fallen down the marble staircase and has also been seen by that same set of stairs. Another notable character is a bellhop named Sam McAuley, who is said to haunt the location in full uniform. I personally couldn't find any specific area that he haunts, it seems like he just haunts inside the hotel and has been seen in various places, at least to my understanding. I do plan on doing an episode about haunted hotels with a focus on this hotel as well as the Stanley Hotel. So if you know about any more hauntings in regards to this hotel, let me know, and I would love to share it on my podcast. Or hell, even if you yourself have stayed there and have had a personal experience, I would love to have you on so we can talk about it. Whenever I do research on haunted locations in general, the old spaghetti factory in Vancouver seems to be one that just keeps popping up, so I felt like it was almost a sin not to cover this one. This restaurant was built above an old underground railway in the Gastown neighborhood, which makes sense since a lot of people have reported seeing this ghost of a train conductor. And thanks to the conductor, there have been reports of cold spots and unexplainably rearranged table settings. This seems to be his favorite pastime. There have also been photos that have been supposedly taken of him. I have found a few of them, so I will share them on my Instagram page in case you guys want to see it. They're pretty cool, whether you're a skeptic or a believer. These pictures are just really interesting. And there are a lot more than what I will be sharing on Instagram. So if you want to look it up yourself, you can just like search up Old Spaghetti Factory Ghost, something along those lines. Number 4 is another one where I feel like I almost had to cover it, and that is the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Before it became the Hall of Fame for this sport, the building was once one of the branches of the Bank of Montreal. According to the legend, it's haunted by a lonely bank teller named Dorothy. I couldn't find a lot about her, but I didn't go super deep into my research about the Hockey Hall of Fame. She supposedly took her own life after the manager of the bank rejected her romantic advances. And today it's said that people can hear Dorothy's cries throughout the building, or at least some woman's cries throughout the building, but because she is the one who supposedly haunts the building, they attribute the cries to Dorothy. Again, I didn't do super deep dive into this, so there might be more hauntings, but that Dorothy just seems to be the most famous or spotted ghost within the Hall of Fame. Our next one is the Dunvegan Provincial Park in Fairview, Alberta. There have been so many reports of paranormal goings on in this park, so many so that if I went through all of them, we would be here for an entire episode, and I want to be able to cover all seven that I found for you guys this week. So I decided to share with you the two most common that I found. The first one was of this woman. Legend has it that this woman ended up unfortunately freezing to death while she was looking for her husband during a really bad snowstorm. People today now report a lantern flickering above right around where her body was found. And another common sighting is that of a priest. He is usually seen sitting at a desk in the rectory. He has also been seen getting up and looking out the window as people pass by. This is another one where if you have had an experience here or you know of any other hauntings, I would love to hear from you. And if you want to be on my show to talk about that experience, I would totally love that. Haunted place number 6 is Seal Island in Yarmouth County, Nova Scotia. This island is the home to the ghost of Annie Lindsay. According to the legend that I was able to find, she was aboard a ship called the SS Ottawa in 1891 when the boat ended up shipwrecking near the island. Annie ended up getting on a lifeboat before that lifeboat ended up capsizing near Seal Island. She is now buried in the East End courtyard, and if you end up visiting, you are still able to see her headstone. There is a local legend that there is evidence that she was actually buried alive. She was just unconscious when she got buried. This evidence comes from like when they ended up digging her back up, and apparently it looks like she was buried alive according to this legend. People say that they have seen Annie wandering around the churchyard and other areas nearby. The Gibraltar Point Lighthouse in Toronto, Ontario is our final haunted location. This lighthouse was built in 1808 and is known for being the site of a murder. Specifically, the murder of the lighthouse keeper John Paul Rattlemuller. John's life was taken by soldiers who were visiting the area in search of beer. They ended up getting so drunk that a fight broke out, which ended up leading to the end of John's life. In an attempt to hide their crime, they cut the keeper's body up and hid the pieces, which ended up being found later on. It is now said that he wanders the area around the lighthouse and has even sometimes been seen in the lighthouse as well. So, because this episode was on the shorter side, I do plan on doing a part 2 to this episode. I do also plan on diving a little bit deeper into some of these locations, so that way we can get a little bit more information about these haunted places in Canada. Now, I did mention throughout the episode that, like, if you have any experiences or you know more about these locations or any locations that I personally haven't mentioned, to reach out to me. And if you want to be a guest, I welcome that. And that is definitely true. All of my contact info will be in the show notes. If there is an experience that you want to share, but you don't necessarily want to be a guest on my show and you want to be anonymous, that's totally fine too. Just let me know within your message that you want to remain anonymous, but you want me to share it, that kind of thing. And as a general thing, if there is something that you want to share that you've had an experience with, it doesn't have to be paranormal. It can be related to aliens. It could be like a creepy sleep paralysis experience, out of body experience, whatever it is that you have a creepy experience with, and I totally welcome you being on my show. Or if there's just a story you want me to share on my show, I totally am welcome to that. Now, I will see you guys next week with another creepy episode, and until then, keep it creepy, y'all.